Again, my name is Juan Carlos Santos Jr., and I am here one of the reasons why the Lord has created me for such a time as this is to empower the next generation, to empower you guys, especially men. In my own personal experience, I have found that this world is lacking men leading. And it's not that we don't have the ability to, it's just that we don't have the clarity to. And there's something about women, because they know how to plan, because they know how to vision, that they are accomplishing a lot more at a faster rate than a lot of us men. And glory to God for that. But at the same time, there's something so powerful when a man understands his purpose and has clarity of how to accomplish that purpose. And so today, this workshop is designed to empower you to set meaningful goals and create actionable plans so that you can live a purpose-driven life. To empower you to set meaningful goals. So today, by the end of today, you're going to know how to set meaningful goals. You're going to know how to create actionable steps. And when I say actionable steps, you're going to know what your purpose, or you have clarity of your goals or your purpose, and then you're going to know how to take steps to accomplish it. Who here wants to be rich? Who here wants to be a business owner? Who here has a dream that is bigger than your ability to, but it's still your dream? How many of you deal with comparing yourself to others? How many of you deal with looking at people and being like, they are so much further than I am? Perfect. The reason why I love goals so much is because it provides the clarity that I need in order to not care about other people's process. Because I know where I'm going, and I know that whether my steps are slower or faster, that they're going to end up getting me to where I know I'm supposed to be. And when I know that I'm living in purpose, on purpose, then the temptation to look at my brother or be jealous of a brother becomes obsolete. Why? Because I'm glad you're succeeding, but I'm going to succeed in my own way, in my own right, in my own time. A little testimony about me, then I'll go into the actual plans. I started creating goals about 4 years ago. I'm 33 now, so that must have been, 29? This was around COVID time, 20, right? Does that fall in line with around COVID time? I started creating goals because I got into real estate and I had a coach. And this was the first time in my life I actually had someone sit down with me and give me wisdom. Because I didn't have many people, or not many people at all, to pour into me, to tell me. I grew up in PG County. I didn't have mentors. My parents were immigrated to the United States. They worked hard. They showed me a good example. I knew work ethic. I just didn't know or believe or think of the possibilities that other people had could be mine. Why? Because I'm Spanish, right? There was this fear of even Caucasian people because I'm like, they will only look at me and look down on me because of my race. So I had this mentality that I was less than. I had a poverty mentality, which meant that I couldn't even imagine myself rich. Now that's a problem when you can't even imagine yourself to have something, because if you can't even imagine it, that means there will be no chance you will go after it. And that was my life for a couple years. Because I was a hardworking person, I was able to do as much as I could. Right? I had a job, I had a house, I had all these things, but I got to the point in my life where I was just like, man, this is it. This is my life. And I even talked myself into believing or being content with this small life. It was a good life, it was a comfortable life, but it was small. Now within me, there was this thing of you're meant to do more, you're meant to influence more, you're meant to have more, not out of a place of greed. It was just the voice that was inside of me that said, hey, there's more, but I couldn't believe it. So I talked to this coach, she's guiding me, and she's starting confronting me like I've ever been confronted in my life, because I started creating goals, and I started, goals were real estate related, right? To sell this X amount of houses. And then she began to break down, well, if you want to sell this amount of houses, I'll give you an example. If you want to sell 15 houses in a year, that means that you need to have at least 50 leads every month. If you have 50 leads every month, you will close 15 houses in a year. And I was just like, I would look at these really successful real estate agents and I'd be like, how do they do it? And then she was like, this is what they do. They get 50 leads a month. She broke it down to the level where I got uncomfortable, because now it became so clear of what I had to do. Now, if I didn't do it, now I had to deal with different parts of myself of why I don't want to do the work that I know is so clearly brought out to me. So I started making goals. The goal started making me aware that, I had that poverty mentality. I had this scarcity mentality. I had this fear of failure, fear of success, looked down upon myself. And because I started making these goals, I got real aware of my whole situation. And because these goals were so big, and because I understood that, man, these goals ain't just for Juan Carlos. This is for my family. This is for my wife. This is actually for the people. I lead a youth and young adult group called Ascend. It's not just for me. It's for them, because I know a lot of them are dealing with the same things I am. And if I don't show them that I could do it, how can I tell them that they could do it? So goal, first year, I probably hit like of them. Boom, but I learned a lot. It was not failure if you learn from it. It's only failure when you give up. So boom, second year, I got better. Third year, I got better. Fourth year, I got better. I think this is going to be my fourth or fifth year. And I'm going to just tell you what my life is. This is not to boast. This is not to tell you, look, I'm so much better. I'm going to just tell you the reality of my life. And it's this. I have two successful careers at the same time. I'm a food service director of a private school. In that sector, I have this stability of income. The owners of the company have walked into my account and said, this is the best account we've ever seen that we have. And I'm talking about they're a multi-million-dollar company. Boom, successful there. Real estate. Last year, I made more money in real estate than I did in my regular job. Two successful careers. I've been married for 10 years. I love my wife. She loves me. We are best friends. Thank you. It's a loving relationship. That's my crime partner. We get along. I have a great wife. I have a great relationship with all of my family members. We go on vacations, they come over, we cook, we have a hug, we cry. Even when we fight, it quickly finishes because we have a great relationship. I have friends who I could call and be like, tell my heart to, or tell the secret things that I've been going through. I have friends that I could tell, hey, this is what's going on. I lead a youth and young adult ministry that has impact of over 400 people on Friday nights when we gather. I disciple over 40 people. Go on literally 3 or 4 vacations a year. And these are not just vacations where I go to Myrtle Beach. I go to Switzerland. I go to Thailand. Next year, I think I'm going to go to Vietnam. I go to Colombia 3 or 4 times, and we ball out. I have a house. I am fit. I want to get fitter. There's still like 10 more pounds I'm trying to lose. I still play Call of Duty at least 2 hours every night. I don't like playing with people, I'm sorry. It's my me time. I love my life. Like, that may be the life you want, but that's the life I want. And that life did not just happen to me. It did not happen because I'm lucky. It did not happen because God loves me more than he loves you. It happened because I got really intentional about what matters to me and what I have to do in order to make that reality. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right. Talk back to me and if you ever have questions, you know. So this is what a goal is. This is the object of a person's effort or desired result. Today, we are going to make goals. We're going to make your desired result clear. This is why I like goals. This is why I believe in goals. Because it helps me see what I need. How will you know what you need if you don't know what it is you want? For example, I want to lose those 10 pounds. Okay, what do I need in order to lose those 10? I need to stop eating. That's what I need to do. I need to eat better. I need to exercise. I need to surround myself with people who don't go to the buffet every Friday. It's a real thing. It helps me remove the unnecessary. The reason I lost a good sustainable amount of weight is because I told my wife, stop bringing cookies inside of the house. Why? Because I needed to remove the temptations of those cookies. If there's a cookie in my house, I'm going to eat it. I'm sorry. The Lord's working on my self-control. But if there's cookies, if there's goodies in the house, I'm going to eat them. So why bring them in the house? I remove the unnecessary. It helps me know where I need help. You know what? I don't like being consistent at the gym. If it's a bad day, I'm not going. What do I need? I need Ace to call me to help me get better. I need accountability. I need someone to be like, hey, I know it's raining, but let's go run. It helps me seek resources. For a long time, and this is my pride talking, for a long time, I was under the impression or belief or just ignorance for real, that I could lose weight if I worked out more, but I could continue eating whatever I wanted. Until I realized the math wasn't mathing. There was more calories going in than there was calories coming out, so it wasn't sustainable. I don't care how much I worked out, if I was eating 3,000 calories every day, then it wasn't making a difference. I was just sustaining the blubber. It helps me manage my time. How many here are good with managing your time? Perfect. You know why we're not good at managing our time? Because what's the point? Why should I manage my time? If I don't have a reason in which I should manage my time and set appointments, say no to things, it's because I don't have clarity as to what my life can do. It helps me grow. I've grown the most I've ever have, not because someone necessarily prayed over me, not because someone, it was literally because of goals. Because I got real clear about what I have to do every single day, every single week, every single month in order to live the life that I know I have been designed to live. It helps me not worry. How many of you deal with a lot of worry? You know why? Worry comes out of this place of not knowing. You're like, one day I'm gonna wake up and be 56 and I have to do, what do I have to show for it? I used to make this joke, and now I make it very sarcastically, because I think at one point it was true. I would, around just random times, I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? Anyone have those moments? You just wake up and you're just like, what am I doing with my life? Now when I do it sarcastically, my wife yells at me and begins to list off all the things that I'm doing with my life. It gives me clarity. There's nothing kinder than you could do to your and have clarity as to what you're doing with your life. Y'all married? Who's married here? Girlfriends? Y'all want to be married one day? Y'all want to be, at some point it's going to want someone to spend the rest of your life with. You know what a prize and a privilege is to be able to tell the person that you love, hey, I know where we're going. Hey, I don't need you to worry about, I know where we're going. Cool. So, we're going to make goals. I'm going to give you what me make goals. I'm going to teach it to you, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what goals we should be making, and we're going to actually start doing it. Y'all with me so far? Questions? It's a lot. I know it's a lot. I'm recording it for that, so I can send it to you eventually. Yes, sir. No, I think what it was that actually do it. It took 2 years though. So what ended up happening is I'll give you the tools, and maybe you'll even have accountability, and you'll implement these tools, and you'll start making these to accomplish these goals, and then hard stuff's gonna start happening. It's gonna become inconvenient. Life's gonna happen. Whatever, everything that you had planned is not gonna go as you thought. And what is that there's something within you that needs to change. And you don't know that until you reach that point. Like I had this poverty mindset. I still battle with it. Like it was, I tell people, if you've ever been in a situation like, I don't know if this happens to you or this is just for me, like I could be, like, let's say at McDonald's, and like I really want the large fries, but it's like 40 cents more. And not that, like, logically, cents isn't gonna do anything to me, but I'm there contemplating for like, I should do this. Like, I don't know if that happens to y'all, no? Yeah, it's a mentality of lack that you're gonna run out. That's what that is. That's all it is. That for some way, if I spend these 40 cents, I'm gonna be regretting it next year. I'm not gonna buy presents because those 40 cents, like that, it's real, and it has all these feelings attached to it, and you have to figure out why. So here we go. SMART. Y'all say SMART. You're making goals, they have to be SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, if I tell you, says just, with activity, if I just tell you, hey, I fit. A year goes by, right? And I lost 10 pounds. And I'm talking to you, and you're like, oh, you reached your goal. And I would tell you, no, I didn't. And I wouldn't feel like I did it. And you're gonna be like, what do you mean you didn't? You 10 pounds. I'd be like, yeah, but I wanted a six-pack. And you're gonna tell me, well, that wasn't your goal. And I was like, yeah, my goal is to get fit. But you lost 10 pounds. To some people, that would be fit. But to me, it was, I wanted a six-pack. Or, and I'll be rich. And then you tell someone like, how much did you make last year? Oh, I made 100,000. And they're gonna be like, wow, you made 100,000. And you're gonna look at them and be like, what do you mean? I'm not rich because I got $80,000 in debt. And so we have to get really clear what is our goal, because me getting fit is gonna be a lot different than you getting fit. You understand? So when I'm making a goal, I have to be specific. The goal should be well-defined and clear. Avoid vague language. You should answer the W questions. Who, what, let's get specific. I want to lose 10 pounds. Specific? Yes? Measurable. The goal should have criteria to track progress and success. Quantifiable goals help you evaluate your progress. If I didn't, let's say I wasn't, I want to lose weight. Can I measure that? Is it quantifiable? How much weight? Achievable. The goal should be realistic and attainable given the resources, time, and skills you have. It should challenge you but remain possible. Some of y'all be like, I want to be a millionaire next year. Stop. That's not, I love the enthusiasm, but that's not necessarily achievable if you haven't been able to save $1,000. Relevant. The goal should matter to you and align with your broader life or professional activities. I want to buy a Tesla. Why? Why do you want to buy a Tesla? What does that have to do with anything of which you are designed to do? In your heart of hearts, you want to help go to other countries and be a doctor to them. What does having a Tesla have to do with that? Nothing. Just because the homie got the Tesla, you want the Tesla, it becomes irrelevant. So you have to make sure that your goals are relevant to you, and they have to be time bound. There's nothing worse than having a goal that does not have a time limit. I want to lose weight. When? When do you want to lose the weight? Because if I don't put a limit on it, then I'm always going to be losing weight, but never really doing it. Any questions about this? They have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be relevant, and they have to be time bound. Do y'all make your goals using this? Good. Anytime you make any type of goal, not just for this workshop, you should use this method. When talking to a female, if you start articulating yourself using SMART, that woman will be amazed at you. Why? Because men are vague. Men don't necessarily care about the details most of the time. Where'd you go? Out. What did you talk about with your friends? Stuff. But if we become specific, relevant, we will be able to communicate with people, with our spouses, with everyone we care for a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to go into I want to help you paint pictures of what is possible. So, the is discovered once the goals are clear. Once you have clarity of goals, like what was your name? Emmanuel. When you could see the ball in your hand, you knew the steps you had to take in order to make the shot, right? That's called a plan. Once your eyes weren't covered, the plan became clear, didn't it? You knew exactly what you had to do because you have clarity. So we're going to get goals, we're going to create goals, and we're going to help us create a plan to reach those goals. Now, who do you want to be? It's a deep question, it's an intricate question. I don't expect us to do all the hard work today, but I want to give you the language of who you want to be. And I want to give you this space to imagine who you want to be. If you could all just shout your ages to me right now.
25, 24, 17, 22, 37.
Cool. I want you to do the math first before you shout it out, because it might be tricky. It's math. I want you to add 5 years to your age and then shout it out. You're going to get that age no matter what. 5 years is going to happen no matter what. That's a fact. I'm a living proof of that. 5 years happened. But 5 years, what I have found, is enough space for me to imagine a completely different person. 5 years is enough space, right? Because if I was to tell you, man, in 1 year I want to be a millionaire, I know too much of my circumstances, my current income, my current debt, to tell you with confidence I can make $1 million in a year. But if I was to tell you that 38-year-old Carlos would be a millionaire, I can imagine that, right? A little more space. I give myself a little more grace to imagine that this 38-year-old man could make $1 million. I'm using money as that quantifiable that we all can relate to, but who do you want to be? I want you to picture this, right? Whatever your age is, and you get to meet 5-year difference you. And you ask them, hey, what's life like? Just imagine it. What would you want them to tell you? What would you want? Like for me, it was 30, like I did this last year, it was 37-year-old Carlos. And 37-year-old Carlos, if I was to talk to, I was 32 at the time, 32-year-old was going to talk to 37-year-old Carlos. Carlos, what have you been doing with your life? And dang, I was like, well, and I began to list all these things that I wanted to do, that I would want 37-year-old Carlos to have accomplished. And that's what I want you to imagine. If you were to talk to, how old are you? 23. How old are you? 27. Well, I've added that. 32. You're 32. What is something you want 32-year-old you to have accomplished? Stable source of income. Like a stable source or just like passive? This was actually one of my goals too. Everything that we want to become, we have to do intentionally. So, what matters? This is one of the things that really helped me when you're talking about like, oh, matter to you most. See, the thing was that most of us have this goal. Like for us, make passive income. For somebody else, it's to lose a little weight. And what I began to realize is that if I don't have goals for every part of my life, then I'm setting myself up for failure. For example, let's say I said I want to make $150,000 next year. Boom. I get to the end of the year and I tell you, I hit my goal. I made $150,000 this year. And they'll be like, great. How's your marriage? Oh, we're getting a divorce. How's your family? Haven't talked to them since the beginning of the year. I've been grinding. How's your health? I had 2 strokes, but I still made the $150,000 goal. What would you tell me about me? Tripping. You tripping. But why? All I cared about was the money. My only goal, my only clarity I had was about the money. Okay, cool. I want to have money and I want to have a good relationship with my wife. Boom. End of the year comes. I made 150 and my wife is still my best friend. Cool. How's your health? I gained 50 pounds. I got diabetes now. It'd be like, oh, okay. Let me make a goal of my wife. Let me go of my health, right? And you go down the line like, okay, I got this, I got to do that. And this is where I'll add this. There's a verse that says, what's the point of gaining the whole world and then you end up losing your soul? And it's one of those things where we have to come to this place of like, oh man, if I do marry the supermodel, make the millions, become famous and fit and all of that, but my soul is still empty, what was the point? And so I include spiritual in there, your relationship with God. So when you think of this future you have to think of his health, his finances, his purpose, his spirituality, his all of those things. It can't just be one thing. Y'all with me? Yeah. All right. So this is what it's going to look like. They all have the sheet already? Yeah. Can you give me a copy of it so I could? Oh, I got it. This is what I want y'all to do. I want you to imagine that through the context of imagining that future five-year self, I want you to think of one goal for each of the categories that will help you become that future self that you want. And we have on here personal development, health, wellness, finances, career, spiritual development, meaningful relationship, personal care, family. So it would look like this, right? If you were to think of a 5-year goal, it would be have a healthy diet, weigh 170, save $25,000 in emergency fund, $25,000 for investing, strong in my faith, have a strong family relationship. If I was to talk to 37-year-old Carlos, these were the things I wanted. I do that so that I could have this where my imagination allows me to go. Because right now, for example, if I had a really bad relationship with my father, then to say I want a really strong relationship with my father in 1 year is kind of going to really happen. There needs to be time. But in 5 years, I could imagine us having a really good relationship, going on fishing trips, right? And so the 5-year helps you kind of space to imagine the possibilities. So we're going to make big goals small and then make them smaller. Anyone know how to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So in order to hit big goals, we just have to make them smaller. If I want to make, and I break it down, for example. So, right, like let's go to finances because it's easier for money to talk about money, to quantify it. Just taking a little long to load. I with the 25,000 in emergency and 25,000 for investing. Does anyone know if I want to save $50,000 in years, how much do I have to save every year? My man. Now, if I was to tell you, hey, I need you to save $50,000, that sounds very overwhelming. Like, how am I going to save $50,000? But if I was to tell you, hey, you just need to save $10,000, doesn't that feel a little better? A little more doable? Okay. What else to tell you? So boom, here's my 5-year goal, 50. Here's my 1-year goal, 10. If I want to save $10,000 in 1 year, how much do I have to save a month? Cheater. 833. Now, for sometimes they'll feel like, man, how can I save $10,000? But if I tell you, man, you only need to save $800 every month, sounds a little more doable. These are made up numbers. Every number could be your own thing. So this is what I want us to do. Create that personal goal. Sit with your team. Well, sit and start writing personal development goals for your health, finances, all that good stuff for 1 year. For next year, for 2026. I'm going to put some tunes on. If you have questions in the middle of it, I'm going to give y'all 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Sounds like a good amount of time. All right. Again, you're rushed. You'll still get to finish it. If you look at the screen, this is what you will receive in email. This is a smart thing, just to remind you how to make smart goals. You will get literally everything that I showed you also. You'll get this 2031, that's 5 years from now. I really want you to take time to process who you want to be 5 years from now. And put it, I would show you mine, but the internet's slow, but write who you want to be in 5 years. This one you could actually be a little bit more, if you want, vague. I want you more to it less about goals and who you want to become, right? And then describe what that person does. You'll get 2026, that's for next year. You'll fill that out, it's what you're writing right now. And different little columns, whatnot. And then what you'll also get is this tracker. This is what I use. Changed my life. I love this tracker, I made it myself. I'm very proud of it, and let me tell you why. So what I do, right, is I take those goals, like I want to be fit, or I want to lose 10 pounds next year. I start putting here, 4 that I have to do in order to reach that goal. Name me 4 things I would have to do to lose 10 pounds since all of y'all fit. Stop. There's a diet McDonald's menu on there. Give me 4 meal. Okay, meal. Boom. So I'm going to put, stick to my meal plan, or give me like a calorie deficit thing, a number, right? Like, let's say my calorie intake is 2,000, right? Stick to 2,000. Boom. What's the thing I could do?
Heavier weights.
So
Workout plan.
stick to the workout plan. So I'll have to make a workout plan, right? Stick to the workout plan. That's my number 2. Give me another one.
More water.
Boom. How much water am I supposed to be drinking? Gallon. Drink a gallon of water every day. Boom. All right. So pretty much, if I do those things, by nature, I'm losing 10 pounds. Am I not? Yeah. Right? And then it no longer becomes just like goal. Now it's a lifestyle. How do I track that lifestyle? How am I going to know that if by the end of the year, I'm going to lose this weight? Well, I'm tracking it. Whatever you track matters. If you're looking at your bank account, it's because it matters. Looking at your calorie intake is because it matters. If you're looking at your test result scores, it's because it matters. If you're looking at, it matters. So what I do is I start filling it in. So boom, January, if I did those 3 things, it'll be blue. February, if I did it, it'll be blue. March, it'll be blue. Boom, let's say I mess up in April. Red. And then after all that, it's all red afterwards. At the end of the year, I'm gonna feel like a failure because I didn't lose the weight. But what is gonna show me though? Something happened in April that messed me up. What is that? That's data that I could now use for next year. So now I figure out what happened in April. We know what happened in April? Tell me a scenario that'll make me stop losing weight that happened in April. Injury. Perfect. Injury. So it wasn't that I can't lose the weight. It was that I injured myself. So am I going to try again? Yes. Why? Because I figured out what the problem was and I need to try again because I really need to lose, because now I got to lose 20 pounds. Not you, I'm just saying. So this is what it would look like. I have 4 years of data that look like this, where I could see my whole year. If it's blue, if it's red, I start figuring out, I have like let's say I have to read the Bible, right? And then around July, August, it's red. Why is it red in July and August? Vacations, right? And when it's red in July and August, I also see this, it begins to happen is because that's red, I started seeing that it started affecting how I treated my wife, because that was red too. If I didn't sell real estate, that was red. And when that was red, that also meant that my savings got red. So I began to see that this thing's connected to that thing, this thing's connected to the other thing. I began to have all this data. It was no longer like, man, it just doesn't work. I don't know what's going on with my life. It's like, no, bro, I know exactly what's happening. Now, can you imagine if you had 3 years of all this data, like that you would make? If you saw that you were able to, you followed this and you lost the 10 pounds, would that create some type of confidence in you? It'll create momentum in you. And that's what it is that you're actually doing. So today you leave here and you get this email and you begin to fill it out. The way I have it, I don't know how you're going to go about doing it, but I have it on my laptop on a drive folder. The first thing I do every day once I get to like situated, I go to this sheet, I look at my goals, right? This tells me what my goals are. So like I get centered again or what I have to do in order for my life to become what I want it to be or feel like it needs to be. And then I go look at the to-do things I have to do. Well, I have to drink enough water, so I have to make sure that I'm my big gallon of water. Oh, I have to work out 3 times a week. Okay, so today's Tuesday, so today's the rest day, but Wednesday I gotta make sure that I'm pack my gym clothes in my car. Oh, save $800. Right now I'm at $500, so no, you know what? I can't buy that shirt today. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to King's Dominion this weekend. Why? Because I have goals. Why? Because you have to put purpose to your goals. Why do I want the $25,000? Because I want to get a down payment for a house. Simple as that. You got to put purpose to your goals. And so why am I not going out with my friends? Oh, because I wanted to get closer to God, and those friends are actually going to the club. So it becomes easier for me to say no to things. It becomes easier for me to protect and create boundaries because no longer is it just, oh, do you want to go hang out? It's like, no, I can't hang out with you because it's getting in the way of me becoming who I know I'm supposed to be. About what? Anything. Oh, yeah. Think about the marriage, like we have a thing where we sit down and I tell her all of my goals. And so randomly we'll start, like, we'll have a conversation, how's your goals going? And I hate that conversation because here comes accountability. How are you doing with those goals, mister? And because I'm the man, now that pressure, oh, my wife's looking. Because let me tell you something about my wife. If she tell her I'm slacking on my goals and she's like, oh, well, I can slack on mine. And what can I say? Can't say nothing. So you'll get this thing. This is how it'll end up looking, the little preview. Like for one thing, at one point I had very vague goals. And through the years, I got much better. Like it used to be have a good relationship with my family. Well, I realized that the only way that I'm gonna have a good relationship with my family is if I spend time with them. And so it became have family time at least once a month. That meant that I had to prepare a month ahead to be like, hey, on the 15th, let's all have dinner. That's one extra conversation. Can you imagine if you're like, oh, I want to have a better relationship with my wife, and then every month you tell her, hey, on Tuesday, we're going to go to your favorite restaurant. And then 2 weeks later after that, you tell her, hey, then we're going to go to the park for a date that you plan. Boom, I'm having a better relationship with my wife already. And I used to think that doing all these things required a lot of time, and they don't, a lot of intentionality. I used to go to the gym for an hour and a half, and I still didn't lose any weight. You know why? Because I was frolicking. Because I was here, and then I was there, and then I didn't really go intense here, and I didn't go intense there. But now I go to the gym with a workout plan, boom, I'm doing hard 15-minute cardio. It's going to warm up my body. Then I'm doing hard, boom, boom. I do it in 40 minutes, and I'm getting more out of those 40 minutes than I was in those 2 hours. And now, do you see what I'm doing? I'm designing my life, and I'm doing a lot more. When I told you my life, like 2 careers, have the ministry, discipling, vacation, I've more than anyone that I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much I rest and play 2 hours of Call of Duty. As much as I do, you would think, nah, this man, no, it's because I learned what matters. I learned what I want to do. I learned how I have my life, so I'm able to say no to things. And no one dictates in my life. No one's like, oh, come on, let's meet. But nope, sorry. I could meet for 30 minutes. No, I got 30 minutes, homie. And I bet you in those 30 minutes, we could do everything you want to do. We could talk about. You have to design your life. You can't let your circumstance, your emotion, your culture, your tradition, your pain dictate your life. You have to finally decide, no, you know what? I'm not going to be a victim and say, well, I didn't grow up with money. Well, I never had a role model. I never had that. Like, this is what this whole community thing is about. Like, hey, us together as men, giving you some being accountable. Hey, how are your goals going? And you're doing it. So that's what we're going to do with your teams. We need accountability. So Ace is going to say a little bit about accountability. Then you're going to share your goals with your team, right? And look, I don't know everyone's community situation. I don't know if you have friends, you have people that are the same wavelength where that there's something inside of you that needs to be birthed, but it takes intentionality, and you have someone you could tell, and they'll you on your crap when you're not doing it. But the men in the room are. If you're here, it's because you want to do something. And so maybe it takes making new relationships with the people at your table. Maybe it takes being more intentional with the people at your table if you're already friends. But you need accountability. You need to set things on calendars where it's like, hey, quarterly, we're going to meet up. We're going to go to Panera. We're going to bring our laptops, and we're going to show each other what the tracker, if we've been hitting our goals or not. Because when we don't hit our goals, you know what's happening? We live below what we are meant to be. And so you meet people all the time, 55 years old, still talking about one day. The one day's gone, baby. One day was 30 years ago. One day was 20 years ago when you started getting that ball rolling. And it happened so quick because we use excuses. Oh, well, this happened. I got sick, and then that happened. They let me go from my job. You know what having goals made me realize? That everything is an opportunity. Nothing is an excuse. If I lost a job, it does not give allowance to change my goal. We got to figure out how to go and get it. Now, that does not mean that your goals can't change because, for example, 1 year I could have put buy the Tesla, and then by year 3 I realized, man, I don't need a Tesla. And so your goal could change. You have to revise, reflect, adapt. If you're not looking at your goals at least once a week, then they're not going to happen. They have to be top of mind. Why should they be top of mind? Because they matter. It's your life. If you're not looking at the things that are shaping your life, then everything else is shaping your life. If you look at basketball stats more than you do look at your goals, then you're missing it. You care more about what they're doing with their life than what you are. And you need to find ways to grow. You can't no longer be a type of people that say, oh, I don't like reading, I don't like... Stop. If you don't like growing, then you're not going to. I wasn't the best reader. 1 year I read 1 book. Then I read 3. Now I hold myself to read a minimum of 12 books every single year, not including the Bible. 12 books a year means that I am learning, and these are like business books, all these type of books. These are 12 books, 12 experts that have written and poured out their life wisdom, systems, mentalities, that all I have to do is pay $15 to, and I get to learn everything that they went through and implement it. If you don't read books, you're missing it. Find ways to go. Go to seminars. Ace is going to have many more of these things. Come to them. Invite people. Surround yourself with people that are growing. If there's people who don't want to grow, get away from them. You're like, oh, like, right? Technically pastor, right? They were like, pastor, that sounds terrible. How are you going to cut? What do you mean? Jesus had boundaries. Jesus didn't just roll with anyone. When people are like, oh, I'm going to follow you. And they'd be like, well, you have to let go of that. Oh, I don't want to. Kept moving. You can't let people stop you. You need to surround yourself with people who challenge you. Iron sharpens iron. And that might be offensive at some time. You know what I had to learn? To cut people off really well without them necessarily knowing. I had to learn how to confront people. And you know what I had to do to learn how to do that? Because by culture, by the way I grew up, confrontation wasn't there. It's very passive aggressive or super. And so I didn't know how to confront. So you know what I did? I read a book about it. I'm really good at confronting now and making you feel like it's okay, because it is okay that we have differences. I'm just not going to allow it to dictate my life. Anyways, So in your group, I want you to share you're going to choose one of the goals, and you're going to put that on the goal game plan. You're going to put it, and then you're going to find 3 or 4 actions that you need in order to accomplish that goal. Yeah. So you probably should get onto the other table so you can have 4 people. But what you're going to do is you're going to grab one of the goals, whether it's personal development, health, wellness, finance, career, spiritual development, meaningful relationship, personal care, family, and you're going to choose it and you're going to put it on goal game plan. Then you're going to find 4 things, or as many as you can, things that you have to do in order to reach that goal. So for example, saving money. You know, this beautiful thing, right? You have a goal, and this helps. For example, the goal of saving $10,000, and then I have to save $833 every month. I make the budget. I cut unnecessary expenses. I do everything, but I look at my income and it doesn't match up to what I need to save or what I want to save. That leaves me with some options. I'm either gonna get another job, get a part-time job, get a promotion. And so now the conversation of like, man, this job doesn't pay me, but okay, well, am I still here? If it does not align me with the person I want to become, I need to start looking for other options.